And we are live. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Watch Your Mouth Reviews. This is your boy James, where today I'm here to give you my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. It's not gonna happen this video, but that's okay. I'm gonna live to fight another day. Joining me is my co-host, Mrs. Best. Y'all say what's up to her.
Good morning. Like, share, and subscribe. Please.
Yes, please subscribe to Mrs. Best channel. Any reviews or recaps I don't cover on my channel, it's because we cover it on her channel. We just got done doing Love During Lockup, which was a great review. You guys will take a lot away from that video. We have also our collab channel, Watch Your Best Friends, which is also in my description box. We will be live on that channel tomorrow. Mrs. Best also has Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. We have also Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. We just did that live yesterday. So you guys make sure you tune in for that as well. So for this one today, y'all, we are doing Belle Collective. Good morning, Shani. Thank you for being up in here first. We appreciate you. Y'all, Belle Collective was a hot mess. I can't even begin to tell y'all. So we pick up where we left off, which is with Latrice and Letitia in the middle of their heated debate and argument and almost come to blows. Because what Latrice did was after said, why would I contact your old employees? And Latrice said, because you're dead. And then she said the hardest bitch word to definitely Letitia Pearson. And Letitia Pearson felt in her spirit to walk up on her. And all you saw was everyone get information. Everyone's like, no, Latrice, don't hit it. Don't do that. Latrice, don't do nothing. Latrice, come on, no, it's not worth it.
I love that Letitia stormed Latrice, but everybody was like, please, Latrice, no. Which tells me one of them know how to fight.
Exactly.
Just saying.
Because everybody was on Latrice, like, no, Latrice, don't do nothing. She goes, no, she ain't crazy. She ain't crazy. She know not to walk. She ain't crazy now. That's all. That's all.
On her own, though. If y'all pay attention, she backed up on her own.
So finally, we get back to some sense of calmness where Letitia's like, I did not reach out to no Josh. Well, why don't you call Josh? Just call him and see what happened. So Latrice pulls out her phone and calls Josh. And she tells him, hey, I'm with Letitia and everything. And she said, Josh, did I call you? And he said, yeah, you reached out to me. She goes, no, I didn't, Josh. You know I did not. Look, I'm going to pull out my phone and I'm going to show you. And she's showing Latrice the text messages. And he goes, Letitia, you reached out to me. I'm not going to make that up. You reached out to me and everything and asked for information. You did do that. And she goes, no, I didn't. And Latrice said, thank you. What he got to lie for? Thank you and everything. And then one of Latrice's friends with these orange braids pop up and was all up in Letitia's face, and then it became bigger. So Glenn jumps in and pulls Letitia away and was like, hey, y'all not gonna be charging my wife. You're not gonna be charging my wife like this and all. And it gets even more like crazy. So Selena's like, see, I didn't want this to happen on my birthday. And so I'm like, Selena, you knew the potential of what this could have turned into. I don't know why you decided it would be a great idea on your birthday to pull everybody outside to see if they can call it truce. This was not the time or the place if you did not want it to happen on your birthday. So I was looking at Selena with a side eye because I was like, come on. Production put you up to it. It's a scene at your birthday and it shouldn't have happened. You're right, but you did it. So what are we talking about
next time, just get your dress fitted before you put it on.
Yeah, so Tisha and Glenn leave and everybody is in a circle. It's Marie, Carrie, Tambra, two of Latrice's friends. I don't know what Orange Braid's name was, but I know that was Mandy next to her. And they were talking about, this whole situation. And Marie said, well, do you know for a fact that Letitia reached out to your old employees trying to do what exactly? And she says, probably trying to ruin my business. Is probably trying to ruin my reputation. I don't know. That's your friend. Only she knows what she's doing, but she did it though. And Mandy was like, well, Marie, are you really going to check Letitia? Like, if this ends up being something that is true, are you going to be on the side of right? Or are you just going to take up for Letitia because that's your friend? And Marie said, no. If she's wrong, I'm going to call her out, but I need to hear both sides. And I feel like that's fair in this instance. It is fair because she is in the middle. Her and Latrice did call a truce. They're not going to be for any other reason, if something happens between them two. So if something happens with the collective, they're not going to put it in the middle of them too, which I can respect. But then also she is Letitia's friend. So it is kind of putting her in the middle. But once again, she's going to be on the side of right. Now I have to ask Mrs. Best this question because I'm conflicted with Marie. I don't know if she'll be on the side of right with this one. Do you think that Marie will be fair if it turns out Letitia is wrong?
Yeah. I think Marie learned her lesson from not being like the first 6 seasons of the show. I think Marie understands that when you keep a beef going for too long, it's not going to be okay. Marie also understands what it's like to start some shit with someone, because if we go back to the beginning, Marie started with Latrice. Latrice has always tried to be kind to these women. Marie started with Latrice first. And it's kind of similar to the situation now with Letitia, because Letitia started with Latrice first. At the end of the day, the only thing that's the problem is Glenn. And I think Marie knows that. Even when Marie and Latrice were not good friends, Marie has been very honest about her disdain for Glenn and the marriage. But I think she's one of those friends that realizes, like, after you tell a friend something so long, if they're not listening and stay, what the fuck you want me to do? I'm not going to be siding with you over a beef with the marriage. I think if Latrice and Letitia were not beefing over something that Glenn did, that Marie would side with Letitia regardless of right or wrong. But I think because this situation involves her bum ass husband, that Marie's like, nope, you on your own. Because at the end of the day, the whole beef that Letitia and Latrice have, it's not because of Mandy. It's not because of Letitia. It's not because of Latrice. It's because of something that Glenn did.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to the fans out there, I find it interesting. A lot of the Belle Collective people who stand for Letitia, y'all going to basically accept the proof that came last season. Y'all can accept the proof that came from Mandy about Glenn talking to her, but you can't accept the proof of Josh being called. We can't accept that proof. And I'm going to get more into why Letitia's lying as more comes out in the episode. But I'm like, y'all can't believe one piece of evidence and then not believe the other piece.
Yeah, but speaking of which, we'll go ahead and get into that. So Letitia's at her house. She has a meeting with, her, I guess, mentor / manager, whoever this man is going to be, about the editing of her show. She also has another conversation with Glendale, which I didn't really care about too much. But she has Marie come over, and Marie's trying to figure out what happened and all of this, and did she really call her own employees? She says, and Letitia's like, I have not called her employees. I don't know what she's talking about. And look, this is my phone. Look, these are the text messages. See, the last time I talked to Josh was in, you see the date, it was 2024, and we were talking about an appearance that we need to have and how, Latrice was trying to stop him. And that's what we talked about. I have not talked to that man. I said, Letitia, show that call log. And let me see when the last time you called Joshua.
You're not going to show us text messages instead of a call log when it's being alleged that he called you. No one said that he texted you about her.
Exactly.
Two, you went and said that you had not spoke to Josh at all just to present us with a bunch of text messages showing that you correspond with her enemies. 3, you were supposed to be cool with your little sister. That's why people be like, oh, Marie and Letitia and Latrice's relationship was so deep. I always thought Letitia was a horrible friend to everyone on this show except for Marie. And the reason I felt that way is because when people are doing stuff to Latrice, who's supposed to be a little sister, because Marie bullied Latrice for 5 seasons. Let's call a spade a spade. Well, she tried to. And Letitia sat back and let that be okay. If I viewed somebody as a little sister, I would have gotten involved and checked Marie. Letitia never not once checked Marie. She just acted like she was in the middle trying to solve stuff. So Letitia's a liar. I think that she's a liar, and I think that that's her karma with her man. I feel like Glenn is her karma because she hasn't been a good friend to nobody. She ain't shit. She got all these fake ass mentors that no one's going to want to hire or work with because we see that they've been working with you with no progress for 7 seasons. Like, Letitia's a liar. And anybody who wants to defend Letitia, y'all got what I call confirmation bias. She says she does not talk to him and has no reason to hit him up for any reason to present an entire thread of text messages, not just the text here and there, an entire thread of text messages. And why would Letitia not communicate with Josh? If Letitia and Latrice were supposed to be sisters, it would make sense that you would communicate with the friends of your sister. So Letitia's a liar and she's not even good at it.
Yes. Naya said, Thug Love and Light. I don't know the show, but I need a little distraction. Life is lifing. Well, we are sending you all the warm love and hugs. You know, life is, only meant to be lived, not meant to be, a combustion, even though we make it. But we are here for you. We love you. And we will definitely do our best to make you laugh, make you smile, because that's what it is. And like Mrs. Best said, we hope things get better for you. But don't let life defeat you. Even though that's hard to, even though it's easier said than done, because life can't do that. But we want to make sure that, you are uplifted nonetheless. So going back to the show, because I agree with everything Mrs. Best said. Letitia, you full of shit. And I knew you was going to be full of shit. Because for you to say you've never contacted, never communicated, I knew that was a lie. Because if Josh can go up there and be with Aikisha doing her makeup and giving her a whole laundry list of what's going on in Latrice and Cliff's household, then he can do the same with you.
That's probably why she hit him up, because she thought that Josh would give her the long list of BS and the inside scoop of what's going on with Latrice.
Exactly. Yeah.
Letitia, you're not smart. If you were, you wouldn't be married to this man, and one of your businesses would be thriving. At least one of them.
Yes.
But she doesn't give anything. I'm not going to have much positive to say about Letitia. She's an embarrassment. It's pathetic to watch.
Yeah, but Shantae gets there. Shantae gets there with some roses and with an attitude. And so when she sits down at the table and they were filling her in on what's talking, she goes, "Oh, you know what, Marie? I was really upset with you because I didn't even see you. It was just me and Letitia, by ourselves when all that came around, when everybody was trying to fight and stuff. We didn't see you nowhere." And Marie was like, "Wait a minute, no. I was backing Latrice off of Letitia so they wouldn't fight. I was trying to calm her down." And she goes, "Yeah, but still, it felt like it was just us." And I said, "Shantae." And they even show us a flashback of Marie being one of the first people besides Tambra to say, "Hey," she said, "Treese, that ain't cool. Don't do nothing. That's not cool. That's not," we saw her in the middle of trying to break them up. So I don't know what the fuck Shantae was on. I don't know what Shantae saw. I don't know if she wanted to see it or didn't want to see it, but it did show that Marie was trying to de-escalate the situation and stop them from fighting. So I don't know what we did not see, but for what we did see, Shantae, you have revisionist history, because that's not what happened. I don't know what the fuck you on, and I don't know what you're trying to do right now, but this ain't it. I just want to say that. Mrs. Best, how did you feel about Shantae's assessment of that night?
It doesn't matter. She's not a cast member and is a friend of to a bitch that barely got a spot on the show. You a friend of to the cast member that should be a friend of. Be quiet, Shantae. Be quiet. Her hair was cute, but
it was, yeah.
I don't have much for Shantae. It's, if you come on and you someone's friend and you just gonna stick beside them, stick beside them. You don't need to then be attacking friendships, her only close ally left on the show. Because
right.
Latrice don't fuck with her. Selena barely mess with her. We could see that Selena's very loyal to Latrice over her.
Yep.
Tambra don't mess with her. Carrie, I think, is trying to be neutral, but don't really mess with her too much. Nobody on this show likes Letitia. The people who cared for Letitia and could tolerate her even a little bit left the show. And they only tolerated her because they needed allies themselves. Like, Letitia doesn't match. She's not a Southern Belle, one. She's just a ratchet hoe from the hood, from the South. And two, she doesn't represent anything about the word collective, which is defined as bringing people together, getting things done. Like, she doesn't represent anything that this show should be about. And that's not just my disdain for her, but she doesn't represent it. But okay, Shantae, do you, boo, go off.
Right, because that was so unnecessary. So Marie's standpoint is that she's going to hear both sides, and because she doesn't know where she wants to be, but she's not trying to put herself in the middle, but she is in the middle, which is surprising for Marie, considering that her and Latrice never really were friends like that, and that her and Letitia have been friends for years. So it's really interesting to see her in the middle, but at the same time, right is right and wrong is wrong. You know,
I don't blame Marie, because like you said, the whole time Marie had a beef, her best friend was okay with being cool with Latrice. That's
exactly
weird. That's why I say to y'all, Letitia ain't a good friend to nobody. The bitch ain't shit. She's not. Because you wasn't loyal to Marie. Now you got your other friends crying about loyalty. And now you expect Marie to choose sides when you played in the middle. Marie had to accept that Letitia was in the middle. So why can't Letitia accept that Marie is in the middle now?
Boom. Yep.
It's that simple.
Yep, exactly.
Letitia's a pick-me ass bitch that wants her husband's ashy dick in her and all around the Mississippi Delta, and she's okay with it. She's mad at everybody but who she needs to be mad at, which is her man. And if her friend Shantae was really her friend versus just the yes men that she's had since the 3rd grade, then Shantae would be telling her friend, I know these bitches got you fucked up and I don't fuck with them if you don't fuck with them, but you need to also not fuck with your husband because look at what he's got you through again. That's what Fred would be saying. But instead, Shantae want to make everybody else look like the problem and help Letitia feel like the martyr that she wants to be. No, can't stand these people.
Right. So then we move on. So the next scene we have is a scene with Carrie. Carrie and her husband are at home with the kids, and her mama come over with her dad, and they have food for them because y'all know Carrie don't cook. So she has some red beans and rice and fried chicken, y'all. I looked, I was like, say, what she got this time? She had gumbo the last time she brought some food over. So she got some red beans and rice. And she's talking to her mom about, you know, the crazy fight that happened between Latrice and Letitia. And then she also gives her, you know, an earful about the Mobile Brick and Spoon and how it's not performing to the level that the Mississippi stores. Now, she pretty much said that she bought into it. So you bought into a franchise. So now I understand it better now. Because y'all, when I tell y'all, when I first understood Carrie, I thought that she started this from the ground up herself. But she brought it to an already made franchise. So she brought the Mobile store hoping that it would do the same as her Mississippi stores. And it's not doing that. So her mama said, let the shit go, sell it and move on. Don't get too, you know, attached to it. Don't try to make, you know, something out of nothing. If it ain't doing what it's supposed to be doing, go ahead and let it go. And Carrie comes from a background where her father was a coach and her mother was one of, you know, the first actual entrepreneurs, you know, as far as a woman going in Mississippi. So she has a lot of legacy of entrepreneurship in her own family. So if the mama said, hey, if the shit ain't doing well, then you need to sell it too. You did a renovation. You didn't do what you need to do. Now find a buyer and get up out of it. And I think that that's smart because when you buy into a franchise that's already made, y'all, it is a little bit different than starting a business from the ground up because then there's a lot more stakes, especially if there's a corporation behind it. So I do agree with the mom. I think she should sell it and move on. So Mrs. Best, how did you feel about Carrie's little segment on the show? And what do you think she should do with the business?
To be honest, I didn't care. We could move on.
Okay.
I don't care. I don't come on YouTube to discuss business, one. And then two, Carrie, I like Carrie. I do. I like Carrie's family. I feel like they represent Southern belles and what goes on in the South as it relates to family and food, friendship. But in terms of her business, I just don't care because when you're in restauranteering, it's to be expected that you'll open restaurants and they'll close. Even if it's a chain restaurant and the same one, you can open them and they'll close. Look at Candy's OLG. She had 4 restaurant locations and now I believe she only has one.
Yeah.
That one may be gone. So I think when you understand, which most people do understand, that with restauranting, it's up and down. Sometimes you'll be okay. Sometimes you won't. I appreciate Carrie for sharing it because it is relatable and realistic to the concept of the show. But I can only say so much. And I think they'll figure it out also is the other reason I'm kind of like, I don't have too much to say. Carrie represents what Belle's Collective should be. If we would have got more scenes like this, I'd have more of an opinion. But they want to take away from Carrie, who's actually doing stuff, handling stuff, showing family, kids, a husband not cheating, and that's not so problematic in a marriage that's not perfect, to highlight Letitia's bullshit. if the rest of the women matched what Carrie is doing in terms of business, then we would see it like Dr. Marie building up Hamilton Davis. We've seen it go well. We've seen it fall down. We've seen her have to talk to Essie about getting her finances in order. But it's just, I wish Carrie the best. I feel like she came on the show at the wrong time. I wish she was here like 3 seasons ago.
Me too. I 100% agree with that. Or I feel like Carla should have gave her own franchise like she did Stormy, because to me, her coming on this show and actually representing what the show did in the beginning, because we had Latrice, we had Marie. Those were people who had actual businesses before the show, and we got to see the inside of them. So I do think she should have started from the beginning too, or she should have had her own franchise away from them, because it isn't highlighting her efforts of her storyline as much as it's showcasing the other ladies and their storyline and it being about the drama. So I do agree.
Houston needs to switch with Belle Collective, because Heart and Hustle gives what Belle Collective gave, but Belle Collective kind of gives the Heart and Hustle thing where you just a friend group hustling, having their problems. And at this point, that's what Belle Collective gives. We see more of them arguing and more of Glenn cheating on Letitia than we do see of the business. But I like Carrie, so I hope they keep her.
I like her too. And I think that, you know, she got on my nerves a little bit and she didn't get that fashion again, that hair together. But as far as that, yeah, I know. But as far as her, who she is and how bubbly she is, I do like her. So that's, you know, a plus for her. But we can move on. So Letitia and her mama go and do an art class together. And Letitia is basically giving us some, you know, backhanded beginning story that I don't really care about. But the few point things that she said is that, you know, she did not have a separate bank account from Glenn. So she now wants to go ahead and do that. She wants to get a separate bank account. We also learned that her mama made her an authorized user on one of her credit cards, just in case something happened. She has something to herself. So we also felt like that was something that I was like, wow, you've been married to this man all this time and you don't have your own stuff, not your own bank account, not a credit card.
What's the point in having a husband if I have to go call my mommy and my daddy so that I can have money to spend? What is the point in having a husband or a wife? I don't care if you same sex, different sex, trans sex. What is the point in choosing to legally bind yourself to someone and you got to be on your mama's credit card like a 16 to 24-year-old in college? Blazing over that. That's fucking pathetic. This bitch is actually pathetic. Because not only are you accepting your man cheating on you through all of the Mississippi Delta, okay, and the virtual streets, not only are you dealing with that, but bitch, you can't even keep up with your own money. You got all of these businesses, but you're on your mom's credit card as an authorized user. Where's the money from the brunch? It ain't in that empty ass house with the cast iron skillets corn cooking. Where is your money going? I'm Nene. Where is your scooter, Letitia?
It's not even the money from the brunches. So you mean to tell me you've been on this show for 7 seasons and the show came in 2019. So you mean to tell me from 2019 to 2026, you mean to tell me your Belle Collective checks went into this one joint account?
7 years.
Yes.
7 whole years.
Yes.
And you have to be on your mom. Let me tell y'all this. If I need to be on my father's credit card as an authorized user, I could do it. He would help me. If I have a financial struggle and can't pay my rent, I could call my dad, because I am a true daddy's girl. I could call my dad and he would literally pay the rent. I don't ask him stuff like that. I don't ask for anything, honestly, since I turned 25, because I feel like that's my thank you to my parents. You raised me. You gave me the sense that I need, especially my dad. You were there for me through and through. The least I can do is allow you to enjoy your check in your old age.
Yep.
I don't know if everybody else feels that way about their parents. It's not always about taking care of them. It's about when you go through something, you don't just run home to mommy and daddy. Real adults don't do that.
Right.
It's not about whether you can or can't. Real adults don't do that. Y'all don't understand how long it took me to convince James to come back from Florida, because he didn't want to feel like he was coming back home to family. He wanted to take care of himself. That's what a fucking adult does.
Yep.
That's what they do. Letitia out here running up her mama's credit card bill, not helping her pay the bill because she's just irresponsible. And that has nothing to do with Glenn. My man ain't got nothing to do with my ability to make money, and he never will. But I don't know. I'm trying to be nice, James. I'm trying.
No, because you make valid points. It's just like Letitia. Like I'm sorry. This whole financial, you don't have your own, and then the fact that y'all have one account is because Glenn didn't want you to have your own money. To me, if anyone tells me I can't have my own money, I don't need to be with you.
I wish the fuck Oh So Best would tell me I can't have my own money.
Right.
I would be like, okay, we going to the bank right now. I'm an authorized user on everything. If that's the case, you gonna tell me I can't make money? Watch this.
Well, you can't tell me I can't have my own money separate from you, or I can't have a little separate account. First of all, Letitia, you don't even need to tell him that you get another account. Like, you can just have it.
Disagree with that. In marriage, you need to be forthright and open. But I think where you need to exit the marriage is if you say, I got my own account, I'm gonna put some of my savings to the side of my own account. And your spouse is like, no, I don't want you to work. I don't want you to have money. I don't want you to save. He's trying to control you. People don't be realizing verbal, financial, and emotional abuse count as domestic violence. That's all I'm gonna say.
It does, yeah.
He ain't shit.
Sorry, the husband like Glenn, I wouldn't tell him. Sorry. Yeah. I get that's wrong in logic. I do. But in my mind, if I'm married to Glendale, no, I'm not telling him I have a separate account. Now, I would make it look like I don't have it. And like you said, the loose change.
Dave said paperless delivery of all notifications. Can you please not call? I got the bird. Listen, but when you have a spouse, like I get why she wouldn't tell Glenn, but this is the problem that she's not getting. If you have to keep a secret about your finances or a secret from your spouse, that means you likely need to leave them.
Absolutely.
Okay, keep it real. You got to go.
Absolutely, but that's why she has not went nowhere. I think my point is to say this is why Letitia has not left Glenn, because she does not have but one mama credit card as an authorized user for a way out. That's why I'm saying, like, when you have someone who is unstable like Glenn, that does not have like any type of stability within himself to not cheat on you, and then you don't have any money to leave the relationship. This is why I'm saying, this is why I would not tell him, because I'm like, no, I need to make an exit. And to his mindset already, and we'll get there in a minute, his mindset already is, well, if you have your own money, if you have your own thing, that means I'm not needed. That means you're going to leave me. That's where his mind automatically went to. Versus say, yeah, you should have some independence while you're still married, because everybody should, y'all. Marriage is not binding you're dependent on another person. It should never be that way. It should be a binding where you are two individuals coming together to make one solid thing work. That's how it should be. One should not have overpower over the other. It should never work that way. And that's how their marriage has been working this entire time. So it makes sense why she never left. It makes sense now. So, yeah, and that's been the mind control. You ain't got the money, you can't go nowhere. That's why she was at her mama house when she separated from him the first time. She was at her mama house. She can't get her own place. That's why Marie had to sign a lease for her. She ain't got no money to prove it.
Right, wait a minute. I'm going backwards on your live. Sorry, it's supposed to be open forum conversation. But I had an aha moment. You got your raggedy ass friend with her leave out 2007 weave coming on this show, Letitia, coming at Marie about how to be a good friend to you. And Marie did sign that fucking lease for you.
Yep.
Just for you to not even keep up with it. I'll tell y'all this. I would never sign a fucking lease for James. I'll never sign a lease for any of my friends. None. Right. When it comes to finances, if you hit me up like, friend, I'm broke. Can I borrow $100? Fine. Because when I lend money, I expect to not get it back, because everybody say they pay you back and don't. But I would never sign a lease or any type of legal document for someone that I am not married to and who is not me, somewhere that I will not be. So the fact that Marie did that for her shows that she's a real friend. You attacking for Marie for not being a good friend, and she signed a fucking lease for you? You ungrateful big bitch. Figure it out. Figure it out, Letitia. She just losing from every direction. Lord.
That's why I'm saying, like, y'all got to read between these lines. She's setting herself up. And then something that Mrs. Best pointed out, about how not seeing a marriage work made her want to stay in her marriage. We learned that Letitia's mom has been married 6 times. So when you put that in perspective of why Letitia wants to make this marriage work is because she has seen marriage fail time after time after time again. So that does something to a child and a young adult's mentality where my mama couldn't get none of her marriages to work. So I need to make my marriage work so it at least looks like a success on my part, because typically we do try to burden ourselves with our parents' failures and try to make it a turnaround. Like I think a lot of people do that. So I definitely saw that now.
It's given she resents her mom because she was very proud to say, like, so that's why I want to stay in mine. Baby, one bad marriage is 50 times worse than 6 failed marriages. That means
absolutely.
that people had the wherewithal to know when to walk away from each other, unlike your weak ass.
Absolutely.
Figure it out. She got to get a real therapist, though, instead of her friends.
I'm trying to tell you, but that actually, as I said, it opened up a lot. Now I understand Letitia a little bit better. And yeah, like Mrs. Beth said, she needs a real therapist. She really does, because this is all trauma bonding of a whole bunch of situations in different categories that she needs to figure out. So we then move on to a scene with Latrice. She is giving Selena this makeup birthday party. And she has Tambra with her goofy ass show. I said, Lord, let that go, because when I tell y'all, I can go in on Tambra, because Tambra is just useless right now. Dead weight. She has Marie over, which I was actually surprised to see Marie pull up to her house. I really was. And of course, Selena pulls up. They have a cake and everything. It's cute. And it's making up for starting that fight, even though Selena was the one who brought this all up in the first place. But I digress. It's not my house. So they talk, and Marie is like, look, I just want to know, like, why can't y'all come back from this? Marie says that her and Latrice have been in far worse positions than her and Letitia. And Letitia's like, no, I disagree. This is worse than you could have ever had. And she goes, but how do you know that she's meeting up with your employees and getting information? She said, because they're telling me that she's doing this. They're disgruntled employees that I fired. And Marie was like, okay, well, if they're disgruntled, don't you think that that's kind of like initiating something on their part and maybe running it to her? And I feel like I give what Marie was trying to correlate. I totally get where she was going. But the fact is that just shows the willpower that Letitia has, or maybe her get back is to be, okay, I'm disgruntled because I'm her friend and she just threw me under the bus in my eyes from my husband. So they would have equal playing field. So I don't think it's the same thing as a disgruntled employee going up to my friend and saying this and that, when Letitia is just as disgruntled, because that's a former friend. They cancel each other out. So I think Marie was coming in there trying to be Letitia's representative, but when she realized in the moment when Letitia kept getting her back, she was like, okay, or Latrice kept getting her back. She's like, okay, I can't even fight this one. And she goes, and they're all like, well, what can we do? We're a collective. Like, what can we do? She said, I could coexist with her. I could be in the same room with her, but I don't want nothing with her no more. I'm done. And I said, okay. As soon as Latrice said she was done, I would have left. I'd have been like, okay, well, there's nothing I can do. I left the situation alone. Just to let you know, going forward, I will be inviting her to things. I'll be inviting you to things. Just don't tear up my shit. That's what I would have said. How did you feel about this scene, Mrs. Best?
My brain stopped. Which scene? My brain stopped.
So we're at Selena's makeup birthday party. We've had a couple of different conversations go about with Letitia and Latrice. Marie trying to make sense of, Letitia reaching out to the employees and feeling like maybe it's not Letitia that's reaching out. Maybe it's the disgruntled employees reaching out because they have a bone to pick with Latrice and probably using Letitia to get back at her. Trying to make that maybe be the narrative versus Letitia digging up the information.
I think it was just Marie's attempt to be on camera defending Letitia. Nobody looks like they agree with Letitia in this situation. And one thing about Josh we learned, he came on here telling Latrice's business that came out.
Yep.
So why would he lie? As they said, he don't have a reason to lie. Talk about something else, ladies.
That's how I feel.
It can't be the whole season. Talk about something else. Just
Mhm.
because Letitia's back is big don't mean it's big enough to carry this season.
So after Selena's party, we're back at Latrice's house. Cliff is coming back into town from being gone all the way in, where was he at? Columbia? Some one of them. So he is coming back home. She has Amanda come over because apparently Amanda can cook, but everything Latrice had was expired. The butter was expired. The instant mashed potatoes was expired. Everything was expired. You just feeding this man expired ass food, Latrice. Okay. So as he walks in, he said, "Ooh, smelling good up in here." And I said, "Ooh, Cliff, I wouldn't eat that, but that's okay. That's your house." They're talking about all the situation that's going on. And I didn't know what side Cliff was on because to me, he was saying, we're better than this. We don't need to do all of this. No fighting, none of this. But then he's trying to say, well, Glenn is just trying to make his home happy with his wife, all this and that. And it was like, Cliff, pick a side of the fence, please. And preferably the one with your wife. Because at the end of the day, I don't care if Latrice intentionally put that question out there or not. Glenn still did what he did. Like, and I think that that's what people need to understand. Like, yeah, the question was messy, but it doesn't take away from the fact that Glenn still did what he did. And of course, Amanda is messy, but Glenn still did what he did. Why are we mad at the concept versus the action?
I'm not calling Amanda messy. If somebody I know in a friend group's husband gets at me in a way that lets me know they want to fuck me and flirts with me, I'm telling everybody. Because if she would have said nothing, if Mandy didn't say nothing, and that would have came out that Glenn was messaging her, people would have been like, well, why didn't you say something? You must have enjoyed it. So Mandy was damned if she did and damned if she didn't. So I actually think she did the right thing bringing that up. But, I also think a little differently for most people.
No, but I can see your point. I can see that point of view because I would be the same way. If I knew that one of my friends' husband was over here trying to get with me and stuff, and I'm not really that cool with her, like I just know of her, but I'm friends with one of her friends, yes, I'm going to bring it up because I don't have an ally. She's going to be in the middle of us. So yeah, I'm going to bring it up in a group full of people to say, hey, this what happened. This is what it is. That is on you now. So I totally get what you're saying.
I don't blame Mandy for bringing it up in public on camera too, because all Letitia's shown us is when you confront her with the truth, she want to walk up on a bitch like she want to fight. So I would have told you on camera too. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, y'all was talking about Cliff was potentially an alcoholic. Y'all done alleged that Cliff beats Latrice. Y'all done tried yourselves to jump Latrice. Y'all have hated on Latrice's hair product in season 1. That's what started the initial beef. Y'all's beef and issue with Latrice on this show has literally been them trying to bully and knock her down and get her to be upset. And then they get mad when she get back up. Now she's gotten back up and pulled the reverse Uno on their ass and they don't know what to do. Because trust to believe if somebody was treating James the way that the group of women have been treating Latrice and I came on the show and knew that one of these women's husbands was messing with me, I would have been Mandy too. I'm telling. Stupid. Let me know when we get to the part where she talk about Glenn saved her and why he's her knight in shining armor, because that didn't make no sense neither. I said, how he's saving you from him? He's saving you from himself.
We got to go ahead and go there. We got you. So Letitia's at her house with her bonnet. And
her Walmart bonnet, $1.29. Couldn't even get the Keisha Cole one for $9. But okay.
Glenn walked up in there with some pizzas and she goes, what you got? And he goes, I got some pizza. It's my favorite thing. She goes, I wish me and Glenn were in a, better place. But you know what? Ever since that night where he saved me, from all the people that was trying to jump me, that's why I'm married to this man. Because regardless of what we into, he gonna always protect me.
Who tried to jump you? Because you are the one who charged up.
I was just gonna say that.
Stood there and was like, what, bitch? And you ran up on her like you wanted to fight. But you said they tried to jump you.
I mean,
it's given so Gucci. When she came to an event she didn't want to go to, got in Selena's face because she was mad she wasn't the star of the show. acted like she was gonna fight, and then when Selena knucked back, because if you knuck, I'm a buck, and that's what Selena did, then she tried to play victim, like everybody was against her. You doing the same thing as Sophia Shante, who also
I'm
has a
just
husband. I question her being married to. I'm just
but this is my problem once again with Letitia. He wouldn't have to save you if he wasn't out there doing what he doing. But he's putting you in compromising positions, not only with your friends, but in other aspects of your marriage as well that he should be honoring. So I just don't understand. So she talks to him and she brings up a few things that she's been talking about the whole episode, about her being independent and everything. She says that she wants to take a few thousand from, her account and put it into another account so she can have your own separate money. And Glenn said, "Oh, I ain't got no problem with that." I said, "Now, Letitia, now which one is it?" Because he's saying he ain't got no problem with it. And you saying that he didn't want you to have a separate account and all this. So it seemed like to me, if this was an issue, he would have said, "No, I don't feel like that's necessary. I feel like we should have everything combined." Unless I'm reading that wrong. Mrs. Best, am I reading that wrong? Or, yeah, I didn't think so. So I'm like, well, Letitia, which one is it? Because the fact that he said that it's not a problem for you to have your own money, I'm like, then what the fuck? Okay, I'm confused. I was just so that's one instance of confusion. The other one, they bring up the mentor, and Glenn feel a way about him. And she goes, "Why do you feel a way about him, Glendale? Like, what did he do? Like, he's trying to help the situation and everything." And I'm looking at her like, girl, how? If he's been your mentor for 20 years, how is he helping the situation? Honestly, I agree with Glenn. I feel like he's a problem as well. Because
your mentor is supposed to mentor you in business. Your mentor is supposed to listen to the things you go through, give you advice, yes, but your mentor is not a therapist. Your mentor is not a life coach. Your mentor is not accustomed to fixing your situations in life. Usually, that's why when we see mentors, they're usually aligned with work. But I'll digress.
And like I said, I could see Glendale's point. That's a big time manipulator if he's getting in your personal business. And she's probably asking him from a standpoint of a man, what would you do in this situation? Because Letitia give me that kind of person. When she fed up with Glenn or when she angry at him, she probably pour out some of her emotions to this man. And that's probably what it is. He probably another Tammy. That's Tammy 2.0, just a man version. But moving on from there, Letitia, says that, and as far as our marriage, we're not in the best place, and I want to get to a good accord. And so I think what I want to do is I want to be celibate. And Glenn was like, "Oh, well, then I need to go. Because what you're trying to say is you're not trying to fuck your husband. I need to go." And she goes, "No, I don't want you to go, Glendale." No, and Glenn got pissed and walked the hell out, got in his little truck and went down the street. She goes, "I'm about to call him because if he leave here, I'm done. I'm really done if he leave here." So she called him and she goes, "Glenn, why you leave? Why you leave?" And he goes, "Because you just said you wanted to be celibate and stuff, and you don't want to fuck your husband and stuff like that. So I'm gone." She goes, "That's not what I'm trying to say." And so he hung up on her. So she tried to call him and he sent her ass right to the voicemail. The one that says that your call has been forwarded to the voicemail. I ain't trying to be bothered with you. I'm blocking your ass.
I just like to read the definition of celibate from the dictionary and Google. It is an adjective, which is a word that describes a noun. You're welcome. And the definition is abstaining from marriage and sexual relations, typically for religious reasons. And the noun form of celibate is a person that is abstaining from marriage and sexual relations. This is why people say I'm celibate until marriage, because to be celibate is not just to avoid sex. It's also to avoid ending up in a marriage before sex. So if you are already married, for example, I am married. I have been with my spouse 18 and a half years. If I were to say I wanted to be celibate, that would mean I am leaving my marriage, I am leaving my spouse, and I am not having sex, relationships, or marriages with anyone else. That is what it means. It's also an intentional choice. Baby, Hear me when I say this, Letitia. I know I've been hard on you and you may not hear my words. You can't be celibate. And I think that if you were to open a book from time to time, instead of opening your phone to text and call Joshua about Latrice, that you would be able to obtain an education. That's all. If someone says
maybe that's not the word she wanted to use. Maybe she was thinking of
if
something
you
else.
are married and you think that the only way to fix a cheating man is to stop fucking him, then you need more than a mentor, a life coach. You need inpatient psychiatric treatment. Call Hamilton Davis. If my man starts cheating on me, my response is not going to be, I'm going to stop fucking him, especially if I want to keep him. And let's call a spade a spade. She wants to keep this man.
Right.
And the way to keep this man who's dirty dick can't seem to sit still and stay in his pants or within his household is not to then withhold sex from him. He gonna go text Mandy talking about, I lied, fuck it, I'm risking it all. Hell, he might text Carrie for a pot of gumbo and some pizza. He might go to Marie because Marie actually ordered a pizza last season. Since he loved pizza so much, you ruined his meal. When a man gets up from a plate of food and walks the fuck away from you, you have messed up. You have fucked up your couch and the church's money. Okay? I've never heard a married person say, I need celibacy. That's what separation is for, dumbass.
I would have much rather her said, how about we separate for a little bit? Like, let's separate right now and try to figure it out. Like, I need to miss you in some capacity.
Because you making us defend Glenn, bitch, and that make me want to fly to Mississippi and give you an Oakland ass whooping because you got us all fucked up.
Right.
You making us defend one of the worst examples of Black men that I've seen on television as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing?
It's sad,
if you don't want to fuck your husband, then leave the fucking marriage. It's that simple. If you don't want to fuck, then don't be in the marriage.
I can't. Yeah, I can't. I just simply can't with her. Like, I don't know what else to.
He couldn't either. That's why he walked the fuck out and blocked her.
Because I would have too. Because it's like, what are you saying? Like, what are you even talking about?
She shouldn't have came on TV. I was telling this to James earlier because it's getting to a point where nobody's going to be able to really say nothing nice except for delusional people who just side with who they side with and don't care about what they do. Like, she shouldn't be on TV.
I agree.
She shouldn't. And Carlos letting her be on TV. OWN does not love you, Letitia. OWN does not support you. You're making a fool of yourself. A mockery of Black marriage. A mockery of the South. She can go. She's an embarrassment to Black women. And I stand by that.
She sure is. Oh yeah, but that was the end of the episode. This was one crazy episode. I will give him that, but I just, this one makes you lose a few brain cells if you really try to, because the shit that is said, it's like, are we on a TV show with people in their late 30s and 40s and 50s, or are we on a TV show with a bunch of 20-year-olds? Like, what are we doing here? Because you would think these people ain't got no life experience whatsoever. But anyways, y'all, that was it. We thank you guys for being here. We hope you enjoyed the live. Shout out to my replay gang. I don't shout out y'all enough. Shout out to my replay gang. Everyone, please like, comment, and subscribe, especially if you like what you hear and you enjoy us. Please subscribe to the channel. And while you're doing that, please subscribe to Mrs. Best. Once again, any reviews or recaps I don't cover on my channel, it's because we cover on her channel. Also, please subscribe to our joint collab channel that we have in our description box. And while you're there, go ahead and subscribe to Shana and Keywan. We thank you guys. My next live will be, of course, on Monday. We have Married to Medicine and the final episode of Real Housewives of Potomac, so I can shut them up for another season. So yes, thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Mrs. Best, for being here, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye now.